Good morning, everybody. This is Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest. If you're watching this and it's Friday, it is my birthday. And Giant got me the best present ever, which is a Keurig, and I may or may not have a delightful cup of coffee right next to me. Today, we're going to be talking about the upcoming Final Fantasy X banners. We're going to be talking about how much Visior you're going to need to expect to pull a unit. And we're going to kind of math it all out for you guys and show you what's to be expected. Of course, any of this can change because Global is technically a different game than JP, but this is kind of like the bare minimum that we can expect, which in my eyes is always a good place to start planning. Now, traditionally, we do get more shards and more banners, but I think this time we might actually stay pretty consistent with JP, just because a while ago we did see these types of banners start showing up in Global, and these banners were in JP, but they weren't in JP kind of when we had them. So a lot of these banners are kind of like quality of life that have been implemented into Global early. So I have a feeling we're actually probably going to see the exact same banners, maybe with some small changes, particularly to Bahamut. But I think for Titus, Yuna, and Auron, particularly since Auron has a 14k banner and a 6k banner, I think we're probably going to see just exactly these banners. The primary banners that we're going to get for Yuna and Titus, though, they're each going to get their normal banner. And then, of course, we're going to have a 6k step up for Yuna, where the final step is going to be a guaranteed light element unit out of 4 units, which is going to be King Rob, Engelbert, Sakura, and Yuna. Titus is also going to have his own banner in case you don't want to whimsy shot farm his shards. He is a given unit. There have been some misconceptions out there that Titus is a double cost unit, which is not true. He's just a normal cost unit. The first week of Final Fantasy X, we can also expect Bahamut to be making an appearance. Bahamut and JP did come out on a 9k Visior 5-step banner. And on steps 3 and steps 5, he had a 2x rate up on step 3 and a 3x rate up on step 5. And step 5 was all vision cards. Now, this does not mean you have a great chance to pull Bahamut, because Bahamut is a double cost vision card, which also means that his rates are halved. So keep that in mind. In my eyes, I mean, I would probably pull for Final Fantasy X before I pulled for Bahamut, because Bahamut is not a limited card or Esper, so you can pull him in the future. Now, coming into what free shards we can expect within the first week, JP got a total of about 320 free shards. Now, there is some misconceptions and wiggle room here. I wanted to put in only what were considered free shards, because you do get shards from Chocobo Expedition, which I did not include on this. And then you can also get shards from the daily purchase bonus, which I didn't put on this, because of course you have to purchase it. Basically, they got their 120 challenge board. They also got a challenge mission, which was 70 shards for them on the JP side. For us, we've gotten these challenge missions before, and we've gotten 40 shards with them. So it's possible we might see some type of reduction here. Traditionally, when we get a collaboration event like this as well, we do get purchasable shards from the shop. And we don't always get the daily mission. You can see here that Yuna and Titus both have a daily mission here. So what I imagine will probably happen on the global side is our challenge mission will be 40, and then we won't get a daily mission, and then we'll get 80 of those shards that we can get from the shop is what I would imagine will happen. And we will probably maintain the 80 shards for both units from the daily login. Now, being global, we are probably going to get more than 320 free shards. As I said, with the daily purchase bonus, it was about 400. So just for our planning purposes, I am putting it at 320 in case there are free-to-play players out there looking at this video, so that you can have, when we get into the cost portion of the video, an accurate perspective of what a free-to-play player might be paying in order to max out units. Auron is going to be coming out the week after, And he's also going to be coming with the VC cards as oh my god, I can't talk. Steki Dana and Dane. Steki Dane. And oh my god, I can't remember the other one. I cannot remember the other one. What's it called? I have my notes here. A Strange World is what it's called. And these are, of course, Final Fantasy X specific cards. And you are going to get a Strange World, which is the card with him holding his sword. And I do believe it's when he first arrives in Spira. Is Spira the world they're in? I think it is. It's been so long since I played through Final Fantasy X. Auron, though, is going to have a better chance of being maxed as a unit and being a little bit less expensive because he does have a 6k paid Visior step up where he is one of 5, sorry, guaranteed units. Nope, this one's one of 4. It's the second one, the 14k step up, where he is one of 5 units and you have an opportunity to get shards for him. So he is sharing that shard slot with 4 other units though. So do keep that in mind. You will be getting, of course, 80 Auron shards from login bonus. You will be getting the Strange World card for free, basically. There is a 10k step up guaranteed for Stegi Dana. We'll be going more into the details on the card in the future. It's not something I think you have to pull for. We'll definitely be going into it. I think the cards are kind of sidelined compared to the actual Final Fantasy X units here. Now let's get into the cost because this is probably what most people want to actually talk about. So the total expected free shards, this is absolutely free, is going to be about 320. Now I could have raised this number for global because of course there's lots of things that we could anticipate for shards in global, but I wanted to keep expectations low and cost high so that when you are planning things like planning your route, you're not going to be unexpectedly caught by a unexpected Visior expense in some way, right? All of these costs are also not considering the cost to pull, because again, the cost to pull can be so wildly variable, and you'll see how I kind of took that into account in my plan. Now, some other things that are not included here. So the 50 to 70 shard daily purchase, shards exchanged with tokens. So there's actually 2 token systems that are going to be in the Final Fantasy X banners. Every Final Fantasy X banner has actually its own unique token. And of course there is the monthly login tokens. Both of those can be exchanged for unit shards in the corresponding shops. We don't know what the rates are going to be in global. The other thing that goes with this is we don't know if there's going to be like a 200 shard like there has been purchase, where you can purchase those shards and exchange 1 for 1. The way that it looked like it was handled in JP is that you got a certain amount of shards from pulling on the banner, and then you kind of got like 10 shards to 1 unit shard or something like that. It was a really atrocious exchange rate. So hopefully that's adjusted in global. We're going to have to wait and see. There is a 120 Final Fantasy X UR unit shard ticket as well. I'm assuming that's going to be 2k paid Visior, but again, I could not find the specifics on the details, and all the JP players that I talked to could not give me the specifics on that as well. And of course, it's hard for me to account for Auron's shards. Now, some of the things that are unconfirmed, right, would be shards that are from event currency. And some global changes we could see would be like a 14k step up for Unit and Titus, which would be amazing, right? If we had a 14k step up for Unit and Titus, that would be a game changer for everything related to the Final Fantasy X costs. With that all said and done, the total shards needed would be 680, which comes to about 34,000 Visior per character. Now, this is high. This is estimated high, so that you can plan to kind of build in other costs or be pleasantly surprised when the cost is lower. So it's a flat 34,000 Visior for Titus, Unit, and Auron. Again, this is not including the Visior to pull these units. And then Bahamut would be 27,500 Visior in order to max. Again, not including the price to pull him. And then Steki Dana would be 13,250. Strange World would be 6,600. So if you did manage to pull all of the items and gather all of the free shards, excluding any other shards purchased, it would cost you about 149,000 Visior in order to max all of these out. Now, to give you a rundown of cost, right now we did have new bundles released in the game, which are double cost weekly and monthly bundles now, which is really nice. So about $100 USD is going to give you about 12,000 Visior. I understand there's a difference between paid and regular Visior, but for right now in this discussion, I am just putting it at a flat cost. And I think if you are going to be purchasing Visior, your cost will probably be just a little bit lower. Now, my personal plan, I'm planning on pulling for Titus and Oron, which would be 68k Visior, and I want to get the Bahamut Esper if possible, just because it's such a powerful Esper. So I am giving myself a pulling budget for both Oron and Bahamut. I want to do the step up once for Bahamut for 10k, and then for Oron, I'm going to budget 20,000 Visior. Now, the reason I'm budgeting 20,000 is so that I can do the 6k guaranteed step up, and I can do the 14k step up as well. My current on-hand Visior is 18,000. I'm expecting an additional minimum 15,000 Visior before the anniversary in Final Fantasy X starts. Now, this could be more, it could be less, depending on what happens over the next couple of weeks. The total Visior needed then, so I'm going to personally need 98,000 minus the 33,000 I'm expecting to have on hand, which means I'm going to need about 65,000 more Visior, or about $550 worth. Now, there are other things that can offset this substantially. And those types of things would be special anniversary purchases. We could get tickets very similar to how we got in Final Fantasy XIV for units like Titus and Yuna, which would be amazing and wonderful. I think if we're looking at actual cost, I would expect the cost of Titus to be more accurately around 20,000 Visior, but I am cautiously optimistic on that because from the people who I've talked to who have actively been free to play on the JP side, when they did not pull or purchase shards for their units, they were about to hit limit break 3 on their units, and they did hit limit break 3. So the amount of free shards given, keep in mind limit break 3 is pretty low on the spectrum there. It's not going to get you potentially to LB4 or LB5. So hopefully we see some global changes. I think actually though, for getting 2 UR units and potentially getting an Esper, I would say $550 is pretty standard for War of the Visions. I think a lot of people don't really look at the cost of this game, especially if they're purchasing from a whale or a Kraken perspective. And so a lot of people see this $550 and they like react or they panic. I actually think it's probably pretty reasonable compared to some of the other banners we've had more recently, specifically the recent Halloween banner and the recent Christmas banner. So it's actually pretty reasonable and pretty within scope. It doesn't look like EX units are going to break the bank like some people might fear, right? But we will have to wait and see. I hope this video at least helped you guys set up a plan a little bit so that you can prepare for Final Fantasy X. I know for me, I needed to sit down and make up a plan because I was like, holy shit, I need to budget, right? And I know that's not a word you guys hear from me often, but I'm like, oh God, like I knew, like I heard people say 170,000 Visior and I'm like, oh my God, I can't do it. I'm not going to have that much Visior. Oh man, like I'm a Kraken. I can't even get that much Viz. So I hope this helped you guys. Make sure you leave something down in the comments down below. If you want to support me, make sure you use my affiliate link, dig.gs/coins. You can also go to dig.gs/offer to support me. And have a great rest of your day, guys. I'm going to go have a great rest of my birthday, and I'll see you on stream later tonight.